ahead and we are in. Welcome back to another semester in SGA. Hopefully I've not forgotten everything about how this works. We will begin with our call to order and roll call. Starting with President Soldatelli.
Here.
Vice President Kong, that's me, here. Secretary Regier.
Here.
Treasurer Nicholson.
She's here.
Director Diaz.
Here.
President Wu.
Here.
Senator Fadlala.
Here.
Senator Rodriguez. Senator Ding.
Here.
Senator Liu.
Here.
Senator Zhu.
Here.
Senator Adek-Bindin.
Here.
That was not correct? Oh, really? Okay, great. President McGinnis. Senator Donald.
Here.
Senator Parrish.
Here.
Senator Chen.
Here.
Senator Cruz Moreno.
Here.
Senator Huang.
Here.
Senator Lenny.
Here.
President Cho.
Here.
Senator Loza Cervantes.
No.
Senator Benjamin.
Here.
Senator Dobbs.
Here.
Senator Gupta. Senator Morris.
Here.
Senator Naki. President Meng.
Here.
Senator Fedotova.
Here.
Senator Amy Lee.
Here.
Senator Abiodun.
Here.
Senator Dubé. Senator Shanley.
Here.
And Senator Tiagi.
Here.
With no convening business, we will begin with amendments and approval of the agenda. Hopefully you've all had the chance to read the agenda. I'll accept any motions to amend or approve of it.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Any seconds?
Second.
All those in favor of approving the agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions? Agenda is approved. We will be beginning with public input. Members of the public, do you have any input? With no public input, we will begin with our reports, beginning with Executive Student Body President Soldatelli.
You have information. I guess I could have done this in like 3 people, but for those of you who were chairing like committees, caucuses, councils, all the things, can you also share what time your meetings are going to be, your weekly meetings? Just so we have like record keeping of that. Thank you. Okay.
Alrighty. I can go ahead and start. So I hope everybody had a restful break. I got a little time away from school and the semester has started off okay. As you guys know, we did not have an official GBM meeting last week, although it was the first week of classes. So we wanted to make sure all of the class councils had time to meet and we would, be productive. We had our first weekly exec meeting, 10 a.m. on Monday with Calvin. Things that I have been doing, I'm probably going to miss some, which I can just add in updates later on. I have been sitting in and helping interview the ADHD learning specialist through the counseling center and the student health and well-being center as well. I helped today with one of the fraternity sorority life interviewees with Charles at LEAD. I had my office hours, which are going to be Tuesdays from 12:50 to 2:50 p.m. If anybody needs to talk to me, I will also send that in the Teams because I know I don't remember a lot of what happens in GBM. We as exec have a meeting tomorrow in the Imagine Center at 4 p.m. with student health and well-being, and we're covering a lot of topics. So if you have questions about that, let me know. I also have a meeting. I'm going to be scheduling meetings with the Board of Trustees as necessary, and President Daniels for our once a semester shindig. I went to the commencement meeting along with a lot of the members of Seniors Class Council, which you guys will hear more about that when they do their updates. Beyond that, we do have a senator vacancy that has been confirmed, I believe, and I'll update you guys more on that. So we're going to have to be going through those process. We sent out the email for the judiciary forum, and I've been getting lots of questions on it, which is good because that means people are reading the forum, and I love that because that means people are going to be in judiciary. So those should be done relatively soon, like within the week, and then we will start doing the interview process. I don't want it to be biased by just having it be me, so I'm probably going to be inviting some other people in to assist on those interviews. It's not going to be a lot of time commitment. If you're interested, let me know. I am forgetting the rest of what we talked about, and I've also been talking for a while, so that's most of the important stuff. I will probably send the rest in Teams if it's anything very urgent, and then I have some announcements for at the end, and I yield my time.
Up next is me. The biggest thing that all of y'all should prepare for is our spring retreats. They're always such a blast and not long whatsoever. So I can't wait for all of you to join me some Saturday in April from 10:30 to 6 at the Imagine Center.
Some Saturday?
Some Saturday in April, 10:30 to 6, Imagine Center. It'll be a blast. You'll learn about leadership and how it means to be an SGA member. And it'll be all great. Apart from that, office hours are Wednesday for me, and I have meetings with Krieger for the curriculum meeting, curriculum committees, a shared governance meeting, and one for undergraduate students. And again, we're planning the meetings with the Board of Trustees and President Daniels. That's all for me. Up next is Secretary Review.
I've been doing a lot of assorted things. One thing that I'm working hard on is moving everything from Teams onto Google Drive because I spent all of last semester trying to figure out how to have our Teams files completely public, and it's just not possible with the university IT system. I'm also working on just updating infrastructure as needed and our big SGA guiding document, and I will be setting up a storefront for SGA so that we can sell the additional sweater designs and any future designs that we may make.
Up next, Treasurer Nicholson.
Yeah, so the last week break, the Finance Committee and I spent our week finishing up spring allocations for student organizations. I also created a reconsideration form for clubs, so it'd be easier for them to file for an increased or decreased amount from what they receive. I sent that out. Next week we will be meeting, the Finance Committee and I, to look over those reconsideration forms. Another thing is I am working on a presentation for the SGA retreat that I will send to Kobe. And lastly, we will be updating SAC guidelines because they expire at the end of this year.
Director of Social Affairs.
Hi. Right now I'm focusing on updating the SGA website. I know it's been a while, but it takes a long time to get all the information, and how these group systems are very complicated. I also set up a meeting with the director of the Imagine Center. Basically, the shows around the Imagine Center, and we're going to try to work with them and help them advertise like some of the cool career stuff they have that they offer to the students, because I feel like they have like a lot of useful career services that like they don't do a good job at advertising it. So I want to try like work with them and see how we can like try to communicate that. Probably through social media. I talked with Calvin on getting the Canva Pro subscription. After that, I'm working on creating more social media content. Rebecca suggested posting like making posts about like, the meetings of like the class council, and then I can also make post information about like all the office hours of the other executive members. I will also continue doing the SGA recaps as a way to keep the student body informed of what we've been up to. Last one's pretty popular. People not SGA were reposting it, so I feel like that's a good way. That's been a good way of being informed. Please, if you're doing anything SGA related, like meeting with admin, like please try to document that with like a picture or video, so I can use that on the graphic. And I'm also preparing some flyers to give out on SIF this Friday. Remember, SIF is this Friday, so we're going to work on creating a sheet with sign-ups. So
From there, we have class councils. Senior class president, please.
I have a very lot of meetings. So one, we're I think less than 120 days away from commencement. So go seniors. We are currently working with the Board of Trustees office to plan out a 99 days till commencement event, which will be held on February 15th. It will be held on the ice rink. It's going to be called a Senior on Ice. We have merchandise to give out. We have very cute. Please use letter. Yeah, very cute merchandise. Very cute. And we're gonna have food, and we're gonna have fun, we're gonna have music, and we're gonna have some like field games as well. We're also figuring out like rain dates and stuff. And for the public service announcement for the seniors, this will be included in the email that's gonna be sent out later this week. Please start booking your hotels and airline tickets. And please send in photos to be displayed on the commencement. That link can be found on the jhu.commencement.edu or something similar like that. My office hour will be held on Friday 6 to 8 at the lab, and the senior class council meeting will be held on Zoom, and the time will be decided when the email will be sent out. We are currently trying to plan out a couple more major events, including we're also thinking about the senior week events, including maybe perhaps senior formals, and we're also in talk with the dining team to present you guys a senior Sterling brunch, which will be amazing, as everybody thinks. And we have a couple of budget left, so we'll try to solidify what we're gonna do with senior week. And if you guys have any inputs, please let one of the council members and I know, and we can definitely take that into account. And that's it.
The junior class.
We are currently working on securing a venue for our mid-April class formal. We're just waiting right now to get back budget proposals from a couple of different possible vendors and venues, but right now we're making steady progress on that. We have time locked down that would be available across each of these, so there's no concerns there. And that is our primary project for the moment.
Sophomores.
First off, we may have a potential class council vacancy. In the case, or when that is confirmed, what we will do is we have a protocol that we'll just re-agree to, and we'll push that forward, get that done as soon as possible. Garden party, last we visited that. The contract should be good. Right now we're mostly figuring out logistics for other things, like other minor things, I guess, for that type of like additional additions to the event. We did release our multimedia art contest or showcase over break. That's I guess an initiative to encourage our artists on campus of all forms. So like could be photographers, painters, musicians. Whatever is like people's art, to just like showcase how they showcase their work, and so we'll be running that until the 7th. And then for a meeting time, we've settled on 5 to 7 p.m. on Friday. Yes, that's all.
Freshmen.
Hi everyone, hope everybody had a great first week of school. For us, all of the freshman senators and I, we've been working on legislation over winter break, and you should expect to see them coming into GBMs very soon, next week or so. If not, we are working on communicating with the admins and such. And we're also focusing right now on the spring formal, which we plan to be a masquerade, and we'll be hosting it on March 10th in the Glass Pet as well as the Levering Lounge.
Now we're on to committee reports, beginning with academic affairs.
So we just had a meeting with the vice deans and going over plans that we wanted to engage in with this semester. We also sent out a point to meet so we can arrange a time to meet this semester.
Civic engagement.
So we currently have one big project that we're working on, primarily spearheaded by Dottie Ray, which should be on our agenda sooner rather than later for broader SGA consideration. Outside of that, we're also still looking for the Baltimore Hunger Project.
Could you speak a little bit louder?
Still waiting for the Baltimore Hunger Project to sort out some logistics with us, but are just kind of getting the ball rolling on resurrecting some stuff for the new semester.
Health, safety, and sustainability.
Our meetings are 7 p.m. on Thursday. initiatives in the works. For one, we have a bill for today surrounding a Meet the Future movie night with the rest of the Sustainability Coalition here at Hopkins. So Alternative Protein Project and CHIP. And we're also working with Sorrow to plan Sex Week. It'll probably be in late April, but we're just working out the logistics.
Internal affairs.
One, we're currently trying to figure out the meeting time. Please fill up your mic meeting people, thank you. And two, we have a lot of things we need to go through. One is the bylaw changes, a couple that's already on our agenda is going over the judiciary nomination process. We want to solidify that. We also need to keep our bylaw updated as the Constitution update has happened. Speaking of the Constitution, I think it's time for us to revisit the Constitution reform that happened last year to make sure that it is aligned with our newest freshmen who will be most affected by them. And just to go over those things, we're going to start scheduling meetings to specifically talk about those things. And
Student organization.
So I helped recently interview one of the new SGA advisors, so Carolyn's replacement. Rebecca's filling in for right now, but she's still going to be our class council advisor. That was great. And I also talked to Charles about possibly restructuring some of the RSO applications, kind of like expediting the process, because there's a lot of issues, and we talked a lot last year about fixing them, and not a lot of major changes were made with Juana before she left, because she actually switched jobs after last semester. And we were also talking about restructuring the deadline for when things are due. We kind of had a long discussion about prospective organizations and why they're not allowed to submit applications in the spring, which we think disadvantages first-year students who just want to get their footing in their first semester and they can't start a club second semester. So I have a meeting with him hopefully sometime next week regarding some of those things, and our weekly meeting times are Wednesday at 6 over Zoom, and my office hours are on Mondays from 4:30 to 6:30.
Student services.
Hello all. Our meetings are from 8 to 9 on Wednesdays in Brody Cafe. Over the break, I've been working on a number of initiatives. I'm working on meeting with the new Dean of Sheridan Libraries about implementing a book donation shelf, standing desks, and most importantly, a prayer room. I'm awaiting an email back from the Dean. Several senators and I are meeting with Lee Hawthorne, who is here today, and Emily Calderon to discuss first-year orientation, the first-year mentor program. I've continued my meetings with the WSC Faculty Senate Committee on Technology in the Classroom over break and sent out a survey on behalf of the committee to all undergraduates to gauge student use and perception of alternative testing resources. We noticed that some SGA people might not have gotten that because it might have been sent not to officers. So please let me know if you can't get that link and I will send you the link. Lastly, we're planning to discuss the official recommendation of the committee and ChatGPT/other chatbot policies during our next meeting. So if you have any thoughts on that, also share those with me. And I'm also serving on the Cross-Institutional Advisory Committee as SGA's representative. So I encourage anybody with thoughts about how to improve cross-campus intercommunication to reach out to me.
Now we're on to caucus reports, beginning with the PETA caucus. Our updates are we have found our successors for the next generation, since me and Sophie will both be leaving SGA this upcoming year. So that'll be exciting. It's one of them, that's the other. And excited for what the future holds. From there, let's go to Black Caucus. Disability Caucus.
So I finalized the feedback on disability SDS training and sent that over to Kathy Hacks, which is currently under review. And we are in the process of scheduling another meeting to discuss what the finalized version of the base disability training will be for faculty moving forward. Just to clarify for everyone, that this is the training that each individual school will receive as like a base set, and then they can supplement it with additional resources as necessary for their school. But this has been a review process for at least probably 6 months at this point that we've been talking about it, going back and forth. But we did have a meeting and send those in, so looking forward to the future on that. And we also have a when to meet currently out to our next Disability Caucus meeting. Additionally, the Provost's office is currently creating a Disability Inclusivity and Equity Advisory Committee. I highly encourage anyone who feels like that may be of their calling to participate in that. And I already know that I've applied to it, so for anyone that may have glossed over their emails, please read through that. I think that's about it, unless Jackson or something.
Yeah, I'll add one other thing. We're working on instantiating a chapter of Delta Alpha Pi, which is the Disability Honor Society at JHU. And I've also been working in the search committee for the person that'll be the inaugural director of Disability, Culture, and Inclusion at the Office of Diversity and Inclusion. So that's pretty cool. So a lot of things in the works.
Phi Caucus.
Nothing new to report.
Hispanic/Latinx Caucus.
We are now looking for a new person in the Latin caucus. Currently, the last person left already. So currently have no successor. And also a small question, probably directed to anyone who can answer in the public. Do we, for the thing that happened in, I think we sent out something for the caucus interest form. Did we ever get that information back?
You can access it on campus. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
WGNC. Okay, advisor reports, last but not least.
Hi everybody, it's good to see you all again. Oh, I've liked it so long. My main project at the moment will be working on spring elections. So spring elections obviously will be for the new iteration of how we're doing student government here. We're breaking the Senate and the class council apart. Hopefully that's not breaking news. So we'll have class council elections, student government SGA elections, and also the HOP programming board will be doing their e-board elections at the same time as well. So much to do for there. But election dates are going to be March 14th and 15th. How exciting! Would love to chat with anybody who's eligible about rerunning, and if they want to run for class council or senate, or if you're like, I don't know what I want to do with my life. Happy to help you make that call. Already going to be missing the seniors because they won't be in that conversation. Sorry, I know it's a break phone call. But yeah, that's my main thing. If you have thoughts about elections, let me know.
And that is all we have for reports. From here, we're going to have a wonderful presentation from Lee Hawthorne for some aspirations for learning. I'm going to plug this in and hopefully everything still works afterwards.
I haven't even said anything yet.
Your presence.
So excited you're here.
Your
Thanks.
presence.
I'm excited to be here. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you. All right. All right. I won't go any further. I'll just go right here. All right. Okay. Awesome. Hi, everybody. I'm Lee Hawthorne. I use she/her pronouns, and I serve as the Chief of Staff to the Vice Provost for Student Affairs. And I appreciate you giving me a little bit of time to share with you all some of the work that we're doing in student affairs to sort of guide the student experience. So we're talking about the aspirations for student learning. So really what this is what we're hoping that you as students are getting from your co-curricular experience here at Hopkins. So they came to be through our strategic visioning process, which we did over the course of about 18 months. We met with staff, with current students, with young alums, and with partners from across campus in creating sort of a strategic plan for our division, and also as a part of that created a mission and vision statement for our division and these aspirations for student learning. So it's really sort of a grounding the work that each of the departments in student affairs does. Can anyone name a couple of departments in student affairs? Yes. Lead, absolutely. What else?
Dean of Student Life.
Dean of Student Life, yes. Athletics, campus recreation. Fraternities, did you say fraternities already?
No, I said first year experience.
First year experience, sorry. Yes, first year experience in family programs.
Fraternity and sorority life.
Fraternity and sorority life, I gave that one away, absolutely. Residential life and housing, dining, the Center for Social Concern, the Center for Student Success, 5 programs. There are 23 departments that make up student affairs. So again, those are all the areas that as we think about the programs and services that we deliver, we want to make sure that there's learning that happens. We tend to do it in a different way. You're not typically sitting in a classroom with someone espousing great knowledge upon you, but we're usually doing it in settings where it's a retreat, or perhaps it's through your student government experience. So lots of ways that we hope that you are learning. So what I'm going to do in talking with you tonight about these aspirations is I'm going to have you engage a little bit. So it's a little bit hard, but I'm going to ask that you maybe close your laptops and just interact with each other. Normally, this mass mix-up, I would have people really moving around the room, but I'm going to ask you to turn and talk to different people. So it's going to be through experience that I'm going to convey to you what these aspirations for student learning are. Are we ready?
Yes.
Okay, so you're going to turn to somebody, and if there's an odd number, it can be a group of 3, but you're going to share with each other, let's see, what's my first prompt? What is something that you want to know more about? So I want each person to answer fairly quickly, and after both people answer, just raise your hand so I can get a sense of where folks are in the room, okay? Yes?
Information, like more about...
In life, what is something that you would like to learn more about? Yes.
Myself.
What is something you're interested in learning more about?
That's a
Both people answered?
Life.
So show of hands when people are finished. Okay. All right, your next prompt, and maybe you could turn the opposite direction to talk to somebody different, or turn around. Your next prompt. When is the last time you did something for the first time?
Yesterday.
When is the last time you did something for the first time?
I don't think it's that. I think it's going dead culture. I should You're really in that. You're really in that trail, aren't you? Trending that.
Show of hands when you both responded. All right, your last prompt. Maybe again with somebody new if it's possible. How do you approach uncertainty? Each person respond. How do you approach uncertainty?
Oh my god, your publication.
Show of hands. All right, awesome. Thanks. So the first aspiration for student learning is we hope that we are inspiring a sense of curiosity, that you will live with curiosity. So think about times during your co-curricular experience at Hopkins that you have been challenged maybe to think about things from a different perspective, to ask questions, to dig deeper. Are there places that that's come up for you? Maybe it's through your orientation, maybe it was through student organization, meeting new people, exploring a new city. We're hoping to spark your curiosity. This is something that, frankly, it's not just about student learning. We hope this is an aspiration for all of our staff too, that we're curious human beings. And I wouldn't think that any of you are here without some spark of curiosity, but we're hoping that we continue to fuel that in you through our programs and services. The next aspiration for student learning is self-awareness, that you're deepening your sense of self-awareness. So, a lot of times when we're growing up, we're told by other people, you're really good at this, you're a great listener, oh, you organize things so well. And we take those things on, right? And then people are like, yeah, being on time's not really your thing, but this is something you're really good at. So we take those things on, and we're hoping that as you come here and experience your co-curricular experience at Hopkins, that you're also thinking and learning about the things that you value, the things that you're good at, and some of them may be those things that you've been told since you were really little, but some of those things you may also be like, yeah, they said I wasn't very timely, but you know what? I'm showing up to things on time. These are the things that are important to me. This is what I value. So we're hoping, again, that we're providing opportunities for you to learn and grow in your awareness of who you are and how you want to live. And a lot of times, this time at college is one of the first times that you're sort of physically separated from your familial or some unit that you grew up with, and now you're starting to go, hey, wait, I was taught this every day, but I kind of want to try it differently here. I want to see what it's like to do it this way. People explore who they are, what they value. So we're creating the opportunities for you to do that. Is there anyone willing to share perhaps a place in your time, in your co-curricular experience here, where you've been provided opportunities to do some self-reflection and self-awareness growth? Yes?
I went on a trip with the Hillel, invited by Brianna to go to DC and meet with former political leaders and just talk about stuff, and that was really interesting and kind of helped me set on the path I'm kind of looking at now, which is a JD PhD.
Awesome, thank you. Anybody else? Yes?
I feel like it's also kind of religious, but part of the Muslim Student Association here, I feel like, like you were saying, when you're growing up, your parents are making sure that you're on your religion. But here it's kind of you have to keep yourself accountable. So I feel like growing in that and having that community is really nice.
Absolutely. Great. Thank you. So again, if you think, did you want to share?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I was going to say, everybody here, every day, basically, we reflect. Because there's a lot of amazing people, wonderful friends, and there's diverse ideas and backgrounds. Awesome. And every night I just think about these things. And so.
That's great. That's perfect. That's what we're hoping, right? Through your residence hall experience, where you're living amongst folks that may or may not have similar backgrounds or beliefs or understandings that you do. Absolutely. Expanding. All right, so the third one is collaboration, and we're hoping that we're providing opportunities for you to engage in meaningful collaboration. So I'd like you to think for a moment by yourself about a time when you've engaged, since at Hopkins, in meaningful collaboration, and what is something about that worked, and what did you learn from that experience? So I'm going to give you a minute to think on your own, and then I'm going to have you talk with somebody. All right, so share with somebody, what were some of the elements present that made that a collaboration that worked? Okay, so just for less than a minute, share with somebody.
Well, because I have to look this.
need to trust other schools apparently. What they did was otherwise. There's no point of collaboration.
I just feel like sometimes like the best collaboration
Does it sound like Nobody says that, right?
No, like honestly, like genuinely, like
Yeah, it depends on the stuff.
I understand your feelings.
okay, but at least if you want to be like more
All right, who's willing to share? What are a couple of elements important to successful collaborations? Yes?
Communication about expectations.
Clear expectations and communicating about them.
Patience.
Patience. What else?
Trust.
Trust. Yes.
empathy.
Empathy. Awesome.
A judgment-free zone to give your ideas.
Judgment-free zone so people can feel free to express themselves.
What's the word for when you meet someone halfway?
Compromise.
I'm like meeting halfway. That was, yep. Compromise.
Time.
Time. Absolutely.
Collective goal setting.
Collective
Goal setting.
goal setting. Yes, thank you. So lots of things help contribute to meaningful collaboration, right? And you need to show up. You need to meet somebody halfway. You need to have expectations and goals and know what you're working towards. Absolutely. What do you do when somebody seems to be having a hard time engaging in a group? What are some strategies? Yes?
Reiterate like expectations.
Reiterate expectations? Yeah? Yes?
Maybe direct the conversation in their way, but not like put them on the spot. Just
Uh-huh.
like something that will make
Yeah, sort of inviting someone in who may not be connecting initially.
Reach out to them one-on-one in a non-group setting and see if there's other factors.
Yeah, absolutely. So you have some strategies. You know some of the things that make successful collaborations, meaningful collaborations, and you know ways to pull people in. Because it's inevitable in a group, there's going to be somebody or some bodies who aren't connecting, who don't feel like they're a part of it, who maybe don't feel comfortable speaking up. And so how do you as a student leader pull people into it? So again, in student affairs, we're hoping we create opportunities through our programs and services for you to have the opportunity to learn with and alongside others, that you're engaging, you're pulling other people in, and in the end, you're feeling like, hey, we're doing some really cool stuff as a group because of the meaningful collaboration that we have. All right. Get to my prompts here. Raise your hand if you feel confident about finding your way around this campus.
But it's just personal, it's not yours.
Okay? Raise your hand if you know your way around Baltimore.
That's
Also just me. No, that's just
Okay? How many of you are confident when you have to sign a contract? Think a housing contract. Buying a car. Okay? Thank you. How many of you have developed skills to have meaningful conversations with people who have different opinions than you? Okay? How many of you know how to find resources on campus for academic support? So we're hoping, the next aspiration is confidence. And when we talk about confidence, I know immediately people go to like, I feel good about who I am. We absolutely want you to feel good about who you are. But when we're talking about confidence, we're talking about your confidence to navigate life's complexities, right? That you know when you've got to go sign a contract, or you know when you're approaching a difficult situation, that you can pull on resources. You know that there are resources that exist, even if you don't know exactly what they are. You're like, I should go talk to this person who can help me figure it out, right? That you can tap into yourself and navigate through whatever the complexities are that life hands you. So we're hoping that we're giving you those skills. I'm guessing that through your work in SGA, you're coming up with all kinds of ideas and things you want to do, and you're starting somewhere, right? You're like, okay, We are the SGA. We are going to make progress on this thing. So who can we reach out to start this conversation? How do I work with my peers to come up with a proposal that we can push forward? We want all of our students to develop these skills of navigating the complexities of life. And responsible leadership, practicing responsible leadership is the fifth aspiration. And so when we talk about this one, I'm going to get you to talk with, actually, can I get somebody to read the first bullet point for me? Yes?
Ethical decision-making, socially responsible action, and impactful change are realizing great leadership skills.
Thank you. Who can read the second bullet for me?
Student affairs prepare students to become visionary leaders who address complex issues and make the world a better place.
Thank you. Anybody willing to share an opportunity that you've had in your co-curricular experience here to practice responsible leadership? Yes? SGA. Give me an example of something.
For example, we can make legislations that directly impact our friends, everyday life. And we can host events that really bring students together.
Awesome.
COVID committee.
Say it again?
COVID committee.
COVID committee, absolutely.
I was a PRIO leader for the leadership-based PRIO, so teaching others how to be leaders as well.
Yeah, so bringing other people along.
Fire spinning, we had a guy who wanted to breathe fire, but he was not ready to, and so we had to enforce the rules so he didn't light his face on fire.
That is definitely practicing some responsible leadership. Anybody else? Yes?
I'm the president of the Muslim Student Association, and a lot of advocacy has been going on last year for ourselves. So yeah, definitely trying to advocate on behalf of our members.
Yeah, great.
Well, I'm a mentor for Black Male Initiative.
Awesome.
I was unexpectedly the leader of a protest last year about disability advocacy.
Great. So you're finding opportunities. They're presenting themselves to you to practice this responsible leadership. Hopefully you're seeing the theme through all of these, which is that we are wanting to create an environment where diverse perspectives are coming together, different ideas. You're learning about yourself. You're learning about yourself in relation to others, how you can work collectively and ultimately for the good, right? To improve the communities of which we are a part. So to bring them all alive, most of those you saw just the sort of primary word, curiosity, self-awareness, collaboration. These are the action words. So we want you to live with curiosity, to deepen your self-awareness, to engage in collaboration, grow in confidence, and practice responsible leadership. So hopefully you will start to see these themes coming up in some of the programs and services that you engage with. Just a general thought or reaction to these concepts.
I really love the confidence one. I think it's really important for people to grow, especially in this time in college. I think self-esteem is really the basis of a lot of really good personal characteristics that people strive to have. Leadership, if you don't have good self-esteem, how you lead other people, and curiosity, self-awareness. I feel having that self-esteem and confidence to even be curious and ask questions, and it's the basis for a lot of the other ones, so I really like that.
Great, thank you. Yes?
I like that, not just practice leadership, practice responsible leadership, because there can be a lot of different definitions of what leadership is.
Yeah.
I think putting that responsible in there really kind of elevates what you're striving for as a leader.
Yeah, great, thank you.
I was going to say that I really like that you have all these tenets that you aspire for students learning, because when I applied at Hopkins, I only remember them talking about collaboration, and it's really nice to know that there's other tenets that they really appreciate for students as well.
Thank you. Yeah, so these actually, we are socializing these now with students and with our staff, and we're really actually at a place where we're trying to map our programs and services to, not all programs do all of these, right? But how do we say, what are the core ones that orientation is going to try to impact through their program? What are the core ones that the resident assistant program would try to impact? So we're trying to currently map our programs and services. And, in some ways, it's sort of a curriculum that we have for the student experience, for the co-curricular experience at Hopkins. So I'm glad that you're feeling like these make sense to you. Hope that you will think about them as you engage with and talk with others. There are some environmental signage pieces around. There's one over in the Levering dining area. There's some posters around in different offices, so I hope you'll take notice of them. And some of the next steps for us with these is we're also celebrating them. So if students and faculty and staff are living into them and exemplifying them, we have the Aspirations Celebration, which happens twice a year. So we did our first one in December and recognized 5 students and 2 staff members who are really sort of exemplifying. So we'll put out a call for nominations very soon for our spring celebration, which I think is in April. It might be in May. But we would love for your participation and recognition of your peers or faculty and staff that you see that are living into these. So do you feel like you could explain aspirations as a concept to a family member or a prospective student or a current student? So conceptually it makes sense. Awesome. And then I told you about the opportunities to engage. So any questions or comments? Yes?
Well, first, thank you for coming. It's like 8 o'clock.
Or 5 o'clock.
Lovely that you came all the way here. And I think everything is a great idea. I think it's perfectly, exemplify what Hopkins should be. I think it's simply what education actually should be. But I'm wondering if there's any other detailed effort that's going to be put by the student affairs trying to promote these ideas other than giving out aspiration awards. Is there any detailed plans, or is this just like this is what we're going to do? It's like a roadmap type of a presentation.
Yeah, so it is currently a roadmap for our our departments as we're planning. We are going to be assessing student learning on these outcomes. And to be quite honest, it doesn't matter to me whether you learn this through your SGA experience or in your residence hall, or it doesn't matter, but we do hope that people are moving on a continuum, right? That there is growth that's happening. So there are going to be some places where you'll see a program advertised and it might say, spark your curiosity, or, they might connect to these 5 aspirations so that walking in, this is kind of what we're hoping to do. And then there's others that it'll just be built into the program or curriculum, and you may not see it named explicitly. But we're thinking about all the different ways, particularly with orientation, of how do we introduce this to new students through the orientation schedule. Are there ways that we could sort of plot out the different programs and what we anticipate and want students to learn from them? But welcome ideas and thoughts if you have.
Kind of going on that, but I was wondering if Student Affairs has any ideas right now about possibly offering credited learning experiences where you directly work with a Hopkins partner or something like that to, move into one of these realms where you're really getting experience. So it's an experiential learning of some sort, but actually with kind of a curriculum or whatever you want to say, a rough curriculum for how to do these things, because that might be a way to integrate it into the year itself, and not just at orientation.
Yeah, that's a great suggestion. We'll have to look further into it. Yeah.
We need to do more experiential learning labs. So I just did one with Dean Rowe, and we did a class on 16th century colonization in Mexico, and went to Puebla for about a week and a half. Amazing class, the best class I ever had. I made an amazing trip and such amazing people.
Awesome.
We had literally explored the entire, we had explored all the convents, cathedrals, learned about the history involved with them and everything else. And just seeing it face to face really just put a perspective into everything and just made me want to learn.
Nice. Did you do that during January?
Yeah, during January.
Yeah, okay, awesome. Great, yeah. It's definitely worth looking into, and I think as we think about all the things that we do over the course of the year, again, this is sort of I say curriculum lightly, but it is something that guides the work that we do, right? There is a reason we create the kinds of programs that we do. There's a reason that we offer, your experience as a student is more than just being a great academician, right? You're a whole person. You have other elements to you, and so we're hoping that we're creating the environment for the outside of the classroom brain to also function and function well.
Yeah, going off of the experiential learning, I think we had this discussion about either last semester or last year, but speaking of the orientation, I think it would be beneficial to add in Explore Baltimore classes as a requirement for the freshmen. Take it can be pass-fail class. It doesn't have to be graded, but I think it would be nice to tie in the community that we're in. That's outside our little Hopkins bubble, but to expand our curiosity or other stuff to the community, to the Baltimore community, so that we broaden our perspective.
Yeah.
So I think that idea has been popped around a couple times, but I think it's really time to implement that to the orientation.
Yeah, thank you.
I have one.
Yes.
So I know you talked a lot about having this being a big part of orientation for new students. Are there plans for it to be also a part of prospective students, so that when students are high hopping, they know that this is the environment that they should employ to? I know right now, people high hopping, they have a very different idea environment.
Great question, and we are working with colleagues in the admissions space to make sure that they know what these are so that they can talk about them. And I think we're also thinking about, again, the environmental signage, so that when people are here taking tours, that they'll start to see these messages around. Again, I think for us, we started with student affairs, how do we get our own staff sort of up to speed with what these things are that we created together, and then we're slowly starting to, we talked to the FYMs this year, we talked to the RAs, you're my third student group to sort of talk to, because it's hard, right? You all have been here, some of you have been here for a few years, so we're trying to kind of hit at multiple student leader levels to at least socialize, so you have some familiarity with it, so when you start to see it, you're like, oh, this is that thing that Lee came and talked to us about. Oh yeah, so we're kind of trying to hit the Disney model that you'll see little snippets 5 times and then it'll go, oh wait, this is familiar. So again, still building, but definitely need to partner on that end too. Well, thank you. Oh yes.
So my question is, I know that you mentioned this is part of a larger roadmap. I was just wondering, how would you measure success, especially since all these qualities are kind of subjective from person to person?
Yeah, great question. So we're thinking now about how we're going to measure, right? I mentioned that our departments are mapping their programs and services to these. So Rebecca's office and some of the programs that they offer, she's going to map and say, okay, when we do this event, this is about really sparking curiosity, or this is about meaningful collaboration. Once we collect that from all the departments, then we're going to be thinking about how do we ask, probably a lot of cases, how do we do some early first year assessment and then do another measurement at the end of the senior year so we can see if there's progression along the lines. But some of the assessment's going to be through your one-on-one conversations with your advisor, through, there may be leadership retreats where you're engaging in some activity and there's observation. So it is an interesting question because assessment for this kind of learning outcome is really different than you're sitting in a class and we're going to give you a test and you're going to tell us back through your test whether you've learned the material or not, right? This is really kind of different. So we're thinking about the different ways that we collect data that then ultimately can show us whether there's movement or not. And actually, I'm meeting with an RA who we presented to who's really interested in how we assess this. So we're going to have a follow-up meeting in the next couple weeks so I can hear his ideas. So,
Is it Jaime?
I'm sorry?
Jaime?
Yes?
That's his name.
So, who did you say?
Jaime.
Martinez? Yes.
Yay.
Yes.
Okay, that's my RA.
Yes, yes. Yes, I think that's who you're talking about. Yeah. So thank you very much for your time. I hope this is just a little bit of awareness of the kinds of things that we're trying to do. If you have thoughts and ideas about this, or if you're excited about it, reach out. I'm happy to have further conversation and find other ways to engage you and other students in this important work. And thank you all for what you do. Appreciate your service. I just unplug. Yeah, thank you. Oh, I have some stickers.
Yay! Stickers!
I have some stickers. There's some little round stickers. I'll pass this bucket around. There's some stickers. There's each aspiration has a sticker. So if you'd like to take one and pass it around, I'll pack up and grab them at the end here.
What's our next idea? Big fan.
I had an idea that was floating around that I talked to a professor about a couple of years ago that I thought might be kind of within this. It's something that I was wondering about. It's like kind of connecting students and faculty better. I feel like a lot of times there's not really as much of a connection because it's like, okay, they're forced to come to a table where it's like you're plotting somebody and they always resist that. One thing I've thought of is the idea of having something where you essentially pair people together based on something they both like dream of accomplishing. Something they want to, some change they want to see. Because I think if you had something like that where you have incoming students,
we're gonna head back into our agenda so that everyone can leave in a timely manner. The next thing we have is this Indian Child Welfare Act letter. This was sent to us by a SJ president from, I believe, Arizona, but I may be wrong. I'm going to write in this a little bit. So basically, hopefully you've all read it, but it is a letter from student government associations of different universities to support the protection of the Indian Child Welfare Act and the continued protection of Native families, Native land, and tribal sovereignty. This is the letter. It has a bunch of arguments on this basis. So hopefully you've all read it, but we can open up a discussion about whether or not we would like to sign on to this. Oh, Colorado, my bad. Colorado State University student government.
Point of information. We would be voting on a final form of this letter when it's finished, right? Not necessarily what it is right now.
Yes, but we would right now we're voting if we would like to sign onto the idea of this and support it.
Wait, could you say that a little louder? I can't.
Yeah. What we would be doing would be to sign in support of. So when Colorado State University sends out this email, we would be part of the signatures allowing this. I will now open it up to any motions.
Motion for a 5-minute moderated caucus with 1 minute speaking time.
Any seconds? All those in favor of moving into a 5-minute moderated caucus with 30 seconds? 1 minute speaking times, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions? We are now in a 5-minute moderated caucus. I'm going to pull up a stopwatch with 1 minute speaking times, beginning with Jackson.
I would definitely say, just coming from Nebraska, which had its name taken from Native American populations, I think it's very important that we support this bill or resolution. It's an important case. I don't really see any arguments that can be made against it, but enlighten me if not. I would like to yield the rest of my time.
No, I also say that we vote on this in favor for it. My only concern is just semantics, which is why does it have to be Indian? Like, why can't they just change the name to Native American?
I believe that's the name of the law.
I'm aware that that is the name of the actual bill, so that is my beef with Congress then.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is we should definitely vote on this for it, and I think it's an important issue that we should talk about. But I grew up in Canada. Usually, whenever we had any type of address, we usually recognize the land that we're in as a native land. But I don't think we do that in the United States as much. So that would be also interesting, something ground that we could also work on as an SGA to broaden our to make sure that we recognize the land that we're in and we should be thankful. And we do have that in writing somewhere on John Simons' website, but I don't think it has been utilized. So that's that.
I mean, I've seen it been utilized in like some spaces. I know Carolyn used to do it all the time. She was really big about it. But I think also furthering from like this letter, like if we're going to be in support of something, in support of Native American populations, we should also be in support of utilizing this type of language on our campus too. It seems kind of hypocritical to not support it and then support the letter.
Anybody else?
Motion to end the Monterey Caucus.
Second.
All those in favor of ending the Monterey Caucus, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions? With that,
Motion vote.
Accept your motion vote. Any seconds?
Oh.
But it's a
non-legislative business. Motion vote.
Yeah.
What were we saying? All those in favor of,
Yeah, we can vote on this.
of moving into voting procedure, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions? All those in favor of signing on to this letter to the Supreme Court, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions? Woo. First of the semester.
Point of information, is it person privilege? IA or anything?
Motion to address the Senate.
That. Yeah. Let's actually try to write a resolution regarding to addressing the Native Americans in large events or even like smaller events, because I do not recall that in our commencement last year. I don't remember having to address our commencement. Is that true?
I don't remember it was commencement, but it's certainly not of the culture.
It's not
here.
a culture here, yeah. Which was like one of the thing that I was kind of shocked about, how it was not addressed in a lot of this very big ceremonies. So I think that if anyone's interested in writing in a resolution with me, then please let me know and then we can write one.
Also, a motion to address the Senate is bouncing off of that.
Point of order, the chair has to recognize your motion to address the Senate.
Okay.
I recognize your motion.
If anybody is interested in doing that, as I think Ireland knows, we do have a club, the Indigenous Student Association Club, who hosts at least one powwow that I'm aware of on campus as an event, and that's something that they have talked to like me as a friend about. So I can get you in contact with them, or Ireland obviously can. So good idea.
From there, we are going to move on to first reading, this liaison program bill from Senator Morris.
Yep, so I'll just give a brief opening this idea, but basically over the course of the last semester, from conversations that I've had with the Student Services Committee, we realized that a lot of times what happens with Student Services is it kind of has like one semester or 1 year where it's really in depth. There's a lot of projects that are worked on, and then all of a sudden, poof, there's no more progress on any of those ideas, and we don't hear anything about them again. And like we learned a couple weeks ago, I think due to something Ireland sent, that at one point SGA had massage chairs in library. So
Yeah.
I think that which is like, wow, like there's reasons we don't know, but it's kind of like a general idea of we want to have a continuancy of institutional knowledge in the Senate. And one of the ways that we want to do this is to have a specific program that pairs members of the Student Services Committee with administrators to make it so, okay, you have like a line of communication, you have somebody that communicates, you have somebody for them to communicate when they're looking to send something to SGA, and you kind of just have people that are keeping updates on projects and make sure that initiatives get done, as well as giving senators that are on the Student Services Committee more experience with working with administrators directly and becoming kind of an expert on their area of student affairs. And I think that that might be beneficial to the Senate as a whole, because now you have those people presenting bills and presenting ideas with the information of that knowledge that they have from their interactions. So kind of just sharing the wealth of the emails and all the other things that student services do, but also making it so that others have more responsibility within the committee. And this program, if launched, would be launched in fall of next semester. I would be involved in the efforts to basically make sure that we have everything ready to set it up, but the next class of senators would be the first people to have a student services that has a liaison program. With that, I yield the rest of my time, I guess.
I
now I'll be open to any motion if you'd like to discuss this.
We voted, right?
It's first reading.
It's first reading, so this is just if you'd like to motion to discuss.
If anybody has any edits, I would also appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hearing no motions, we will move on to our bill and second reading.
Thank you.
This is the Meet the Future Movie Night funding bill from Senator Huang. Thank you for not jumping down the chairs.
I'm scared too.
He's on my side. Very scary.
So HSS is part of the Sustainability Coalition started by Shakira Hopkins, which is Sustainable Hopkins Initiative Projects. And with the Sustainability Coalition, which is basically all of the sustainability-based student orgs here at Hopkins, they're planning a Meet the Future movie night, which is going to happen on February 16th from 6 to 8 p.m. at Commons NPR. So basically, this will be a chance for the Sustainability Coalition to have their first official event. And it'll also introduce Meet the Future, which is a film about alternative protein, and also offer alternative protein and vegan food options. So this bill is to help fund for the food. And even though there's a lot in the table, we're only funding for half because Alternative Protein Project is funding the other half. So it's only going to be $152.30.
One thing about HSS, they always keep the price low.
Point of information, this is something kind of just to do with like the bills and whatnot, but do we have like an official order of the bills? Because I'm realizing now this will be hard when people look back in the future because all the bills are XX.
I take care of it in the PDF document.
Got it. Do we have those saved somewhere?
Yes.
Where?
That's the problem.
We can do
On
this
my
after.
computer.
Let's open it to motions. If someone would like to open a moderated caucus.
This is first reading.
This is
Second reading.
Yes. Moderated caucus, please.
Motion for a 5-minute moderated caucus with 1 minute speaking times.
Any seconds?
Second.
All those in favor of moving into a 5-minute moderated caucus with 30-second speaking times?
1 minute.
1 minute of your time. Please say aye.
Aye.
Please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions?
Clickers next week.
Oh.
Finally arrived.
They arrived. Winter break.
Jackson, you have 1 minute.
Just to make sure, this is a dumb question, but is the Alternative Protein Project a nonprofit?
It's a student organization here on campus, but I think they're part of like a network.
Okay, I just want to make sure that they're on campus because otherwise they would have to consider taxes and then the payment details would be different.
No, they're like a student organization, but they're part of like a national network, or like they're part of a network.
Got it. As long as it's tax free. Otherwise, splitting the budget might be a bit difficult.
I'm gonna put myself.
I yield the rest of my time.
Yeah, I'm gonna put myself on. My question is, oh, I'm on the wrong page. Oops. This event is only for 30 people. Is there any way we could just supplement this with money and just boost it so that it is larger? Because 30 people, it kind of isn't a lot, but I feel like our Senate would be more open to just giving a lot more money if a lot more people could come.
Increase the budget, or like, because 30 a person cap is also because of like Commons NPR space, because Commons NPR can only hold so much space, and it's also because of like the food estimates based on what they gave. But we can always increase if you guys want to. But we have other events too, so I didn't want to make it like too much.
Jackson, Dollhut did hand up. Anybody else?
I would just want to make sure you're securing the movie rights correctly. Has somebody discussed Or are you?
I'm not doing, they're doing. Like Alternative Protein Project and SHIP are doing the like organization. We're just doing the funding for the food. So
Okay, that's fine. I will.
I can give you their contacts if you want to reach out to them.
I'll contemplate, because if not, that changes the amount of money.
Because then they have their own budgets too, but they just want the SGA funds.
Oh, okay, great.
for
That's their problem then.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to Saul and
If you increase the cap, like how much do you suspect it would be?
I didn't book the room, so I don't know how many people can fit in that room, but I can ask them. But also the event is happening February 16th, so if we change the cap and possibly the location, we probably have to rebook another location and change the time too. So we just have to change everything.
Is it better for us to like move on this one and then you add like it in the winter bill, or would you want to like re-edit it?
Either way, like, this is our first event as the Sustainability Coalition. We're probably going to have more events during the semester, so it's not like this is like the last chance for us to collaborate with these organizations. So if you guys want to increase the budget, then we can like push it back or not. I have a preference.
we're gonna go to Kaya.
Yeah, so I just wanted to know how much is SHIP contributing to this? Are they like just paying for movie rights? Are they paying for like additional supplies for the event? Or are we solely funding for this event? Because SHIP is under SGA. They currently have group funds available. So I wanted to know how are they contributing to the event financially?
So Alternative Protein Project and SHIP are responsible for like organization and everything. So I think they're gonna talk over like how to split the movie stuff. But like in terms of like SGA's involvement, like I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, I think just like 30 people event is really a sad event. So let's make that like at least like 100, 150. Let's try to pump some more money in it to make it at least 100 and 150. 30 people is like what we have in this room.
Less than
Yeah. So, and this is a second reading?
Yeah.
But you'd be okay with like pushing it, like tabling it and then fixing it? Or you want to like get it done now?
Because right now, this is just like the time they book the room. But if we're looking for like more people, we probably have to book another room at a different time on a different day anyway. So I already pushed it back from, it was originally supposed to be early February, so I'll reach out to them, but we can table this.
Jackson, you want to finish off with 8 seconds?
Yep, I just looked it up. It's not available under the Creative Commons, so it's not a free movie. So somebody will have to purchase the rights to that to show that to an audience.
Okay, our
motion to
time
table the event.
for the moderator caucus is over. I will not accept any motions.
Motion to table this until.
Motion to table indefinitely because it'll be brought back up.
Sure. Motion to table indefinitely.
Second.
All those in favor of tabling this bill, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say nay.
Nay.
Any abstentions? Roll call. Next week, this will no longer be a thing. Isn't that so amazing? Beginning with President Wu.
Wait, let us know when you're ready.
Are you good? President Wu.
Wait, no, don't start.
No?
Let us
Oh,
know
I
when
thought
you're
it was a nod.
You just need a list of the golden age to copy paste and then just go.
ready. She's finishing the words that were just said, and then we'll be doing that. Which Elena, I can take it from her.
President Wu.
Aye.
Senator Fadlallah.
Aye.
Senator Rodriguez. Senator Ding. Senator Liu.
Aye.
Senator Zhu. Senator Adegbenden.
Aye.
Senator President McGinnis.
Yes.
Senator Donald. Senator Parrish. Senator Shen. Senator Cruz Moreno. Senator Huang. Senator Lenny. President Cho.
Yes.
Senator Senator Benjamin. Senator Dobbs. Senator Gupta. Senator Morris.
Aye.
Senator Naqvi. President Meng.
Aye.
Senator Fedotova. Senator Amy Lee.
Aye.
Senator Abiodun.
Aye.
Senator Dubé. Senator Sean Lee. Senator Tiago. Table. Prospective legislation and announcements. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I have been talking to the DMC regarding the joint purchasing of like a 360 photo booth / like self-printing photo booth thing that'd be rentable by student org / SGA through the DMC. So I'm working on that right now. I don't really know what I'm going to approach them with what specifically we'd want to buy, but I'm probably going to be writing a funding bill in the next week. If you want to be on that, let me know.
Whatever number.
I don't know what the order was.
2, 3, 4, and then.
So I have this initiative that I had planned for since last semester. I already met with a couple departments, I would say, about this initiative. So this initiative is so how Hopkins and Baltimore community do not get along. I think everyone can agree on that. And I think how Hopkins has been approaching this problem was they would tend to reach out